You don't hear it. You don't see it at first. You feel it when someone's hand is too close, too ready, too familiar with a body that isn't theirs. Bars are loud, crowded, and chaotic, which makes them perfect places to hide predatory behavior in plain sight. Most people use their hands naturally, holding drinks, gesturing while talking, resting them on the counter, keeping space. A predator's hands behave differently. They don't just exist in space. They search for access. The placement is intentional, not accidental. One of the clearest signs is hovering contact. A hand resting just inches from your waist, lower back, thigh, or hip, close enough to touch without touching. It's a test. If you don't react, the hand moves closer. If you pull away, they may pretend it was accidental. Predators use proximity as a strategy, not confidence. They create situations where touching feels natural because of crowding. Another red flag is anchoring. This is when someone places their hand on a surface near you, on the bar behind your back, on the wall beside your head, on the back of your chair. It traps space. It limits movement. It's not flirtation. It's control. It creates a physical boundary without consent. The body language says, "This space is mine now." Predatory hand placement is also directional. Hands that guide instead of invite. A hand on the lower back, pushing someone forward. Fingers steering shoulders, gripping an arm instead of lightly tapping it. These aren't gestures of connection. They're acts of dominance disguised as social behavior. Another pattern is testing touch. Small repeated contact, brushing fingers, tapping thighs, grazing knees, adjusting imaginary lint, moving hair out of the face without permission. Each touch is a boundary probe. If there's no resistance, the behavior escalates. Predators don't jump straight to extremes. They build permission through silence. In bar environments, predators rely on chaos, loud music, alcohol, movement. They depend on confusion to blur responsibility. If someone reacts, they can say, "It's crowded," or "I was just being friendly," or "It was an accident." That's part of the strategy, plausible deniability. This isn't about awkward flirting. Awkward flirting respects distance. Predatory behavior ignores it. Healthy interest waits for signals. Predators force presence. Their hands appear before consent does. What makes this dangerous is how normalized it feels. People are taught to ignore discomfort, to avoid scenes, to be polite. Predators know this. They count on hesitation. They count on self-doubt. They count on the victim questioning their own perception instead of the behavior. Real predators don't look dramatic. They don't act like movie villains. They look normal. Social, calm, sometimes charming. The difference isn't in their face. It's in their boundaries, or the lack of them. Awareness changes the power dynamic. Moving away, repositioning your body, stepping towards staff, making space. These are not overreactions. They are self-protection. Predators lose confidence when access is denied. Not every close hand is a threat. But when touch feels strategic instead of social, when placement feels intentional instead of accidental, when proximity feels invasive instead of mutual, that's not misunderstanding. That's the pattern. And in places designed for noise and closeness, sometimes the most dangerous signal isn't what someone says, it's where they put their hands.